Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 handmade card ideas that incorporate lettering or calligraphy in some way. My favourite thing about learning calligraphy is making handmade cards with it. I love being able to transfer a skill I've learned and I'm passionate about into making something meaningful for someone else. The designs do also feature simple doodles that I believe anyone can draw, so don't worry if drawing isn't a strength of yours. If calligraphy or card making is something that you enjoy, consider subscribing for future similar content. Right now, let's get into it. First up is a confetti design. Though one of the recipients that received these cards said it looks like sprinkles. Whatever you think it looks like, it's fun and vibrant and yet really simple to create. To create this design, start by writing happy birthday in the centre of the card using a small black brush pen. I'm using the Pentel Fude Touch brush pen. Then around the writing, start creating little dashes using a coloured pen. I'm using my WHSmith Brush pens, but you can use any felt tip pen. Work your way around the card, leaving room for the 2 other colours. You then simply go in with the other colour pens. I'd personally recommend 3 colours, otherwise it might get a little crowded. A tip with this is to make sure you point the pen strokes in different directions to make it look more like confetti. Okay, so that's my first design. This is kind of a go-to design for me. I think it looks cheerful and it's easy to make. I think because of the confetti design it works well for other celebrations, so for example I use this design to congratulate someone on their engagement, so this could be a good one for you. My second design features some simple floralish doodles. The reason why I love this style of card is because it looks super pretty and soft, but you don't need to be able to have a high art skill level to be able to draw it. To make this card, start by creating the letters in the middle using brush calligraphy. I personally like using a softer colour, but you can obviously use any colour you like. For the brush calligraphy, I'm using a Hobbycraft brush pen. I'm actually using a lot of Hobbycraft brush pens for this video because the colour range is great, but as I mentioned in my review of them, they're not the easiest of pens to use. In the description I'll link reviews I've done of the brush pens featured in this video for anyone interested. Anyway, once you've done the calligraphy in the middle, create little leaf doodles around the card. There are 3 styles that I use on this card. The first are these little dots to represent berries at the end of each stem. The second style is a softer and rounder leaf style, and the final style is more of a traditional leaf shape. Think of little teardrop shapes at the end of each stem. Work your way around the card, shaking up the size and directions of the doodles to add more variety in the look of the card. Once you've filled your card up with doodles, put little dots in areas where there's white space to fill it up a bit. Okay, so that's all there is to this card. It's a bit more time consuming than the first, but I think it's worth it for this pretty design. Next up is what I describe as a retro feel card. I'm using my Hobbycraft brush pens again, along with my Pentel brush pen. To create this card, draw 2 lines, one above the other, making sure that they're both tall enough and wide enough to write a message over. Use light colours for those as you want the lettering to pop against it. Once you've done that, write birthday in calligraphy underneath with a little line underneath it. And then following on from that, use a black brush pen to create the rest of your message on the lines that you've created. I've gone for have a very happy birthday. I'm kind of flicking the brush pen to make it look a little on the scruffy side. You really don't have to get the thick and thin lines, you can make it look as kind of loose as you want. This is an ideal card if you want to write a longer message on the front, and I really like the simplicity of this one. My next card is Sakura themed. For this card we're going to use the same colour for most of the card. We're going to use a soft pretty pink colour to create our calligraphy in the centre, and to create our petals. So first things first, write your calligraphy in the middle using the brush pen. This will give you an idea of where the most white space is and where is best to place your petals. Once you've decided on where to place them, create 5 soft petals. Don't worry about leaving space in the middle as we're going to be going over it. I've kept the Sakura flower doodles quite minimal. I'm not particularly artistic and drawing isn't my strength, but I feel that these are kind of easy to achieve. Once you've finished with your pink brush pen, use a black fine liner or gel pen to create a shadow around the calligraphy to add a bit more dimension to the card. My top tips for adding shadows in your lettering is to keep it consistent. So I will always add my shadows to the right hand side or underneath. By keeping it consistent, it kind of becomes muscle memory then of where you need to place your shadows. I don't know why Sakura always reminds me of Japan. I guess because it's pretty renowned for its hanami season. I'm actually looking to book a trip to Japan next year, so if any of you have been or have any tips, please let me know. Once you've done this, add a few black lines in the centre of each flower, moving outwards on each petal, and then add a few dots next to the lines on each petal. I tend to keep to about 3 flowers per card, and the reason for that is because of the size of the brush pen I'm using, the flowers end up being quite large, so I think if you added more than 3 it might look a bit cluttered. Okay, so that's card number 4. I really love how pretty this card style is. For the final card, I've gone for a leaves design. First, write out your message in the middle using a small black brush pen. I feel like leaves and leafy themed designs are very on trend right now, so I think this card is perfect for that. Definitely try to keep the calligraphy style very minimal in this one. The attention is going to be on the leaves, not the writing. I then create a simple leaf shape using my brush pens, but you can use any felt tips you have on hand. I create these by drawing a straight line and then an upwards curve on each side, starting from the bottom until I have complete leaves. I like using different colours to make this card look more interesting, so I've used kind of like a couple of greens and then like this sunflower brown colour. I don't really know what colour you would describe it as. I also tried to shake up the angles the leaves are pointing in so it looks more varied. I also add leaves at the edge of the card so it looks more continuous. Don't worry about the leaves looking perfectly accurate. I mean, you're using green colours, so people will get the gist even if they're not perfectly leaf shaped and neat. This card would be perfect for anyone who has a bit of a houseplant addiction. I know someone who has about 20 houseplants in their home, and that person's me. I really like this card. I think it's very much on trend, and even though it's more time consuming, it's fairly simple to make. And that's everything. Here is a review of the designs that I've created in this video. I truly hope that you've gotten some inspiration from this video. If you go on to recreate them, I'd love to see your work. I'll post my social media details down in the description if you want to tag me. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.